Welcome to the Stoked Bloke Show, peoples. Special edition, the Backdoor Shootout PK. We're going to have a look back. Massive thanks to A New Earth Project for the Pipeline Studios, for you, PK, and for you guys for watching. What did you think of the shootout, mate? It was a wild ride, as it always is.
Yeah, I was a team captain because we fielded a New Earth Project team. And, of course, we had superstar, superhero, super surfer Bethany Hamilton. And she was impressive. So Uncle Eddie gave us the privilege to be in the event for a third year.
Yep.
And put together a team. And you know you're going to get some different conditions, and you don't really know what you're going to get. And it's hard for people to be in town the whole time. And then you have alternates. And so Luke Tima...
The door opened, didn't
and
it?
Shado P got to be on our team for all the rounds. And, of course, Koa Smith and Kalana Apo, Bethany Hamilton, that was our team. So it was unreal for us. There were some big scary days, some wild days, some crazy days, and then we ended with a really good day.
Yeah.
And how cool is it?
2 days.
Nobody else lets you do a surf contest where you don't have to wear a sponsor's jersey.
That's one of those. There's
It's incredible.
Many different little quirks to the event that give it its personality, right?
That make it really special, especially appeasing. We're not a brand where we're pushing a logo or anything like, Florence Marine X or Quicksilver or Billabong, but those brands get to be in it with no jersey. You could run a picture of a guy like he's free surfing.
And your surfers surf with their teammates, so the camaraderie and the feeling and the vibe in those sessions or heats is different to a regular heat.
But you hope it's there. I know it was there with our team. I know some teams were a little competitive, though.
People want to win it.
People want to get good waves, too.
50K up for grab, and you're surfing Pipeline, and this year, surf 6 rounds. So everybody got 6 surfs. This is the magic book, mate.
You've got
Round 1, heat 1. So in this book, I keep track of all the scores of consequence as we go along through a heat and through a day and through 4 days and 6 rounds.
What was it like judging up there with your, speaking of teammates?
It's the toughest gig.
You, Flynn,
Novak, Love Hodel, Kaimana, Henri, Myles, Padaca.
Myles, yeah.
And yours truly.
Some heavy hitters in that tower.
And they all know what's going down, and no one's, no one cares who wins. What we have to do is there's a ride on day 1, the opening ride of the event, and then there's the last ride 6 rounds later.
And it has to make sense.
All got to be relative to each other and try and keep a scale.
Right.
And on day 1, and that's, as a judge, it's an emotional experience. It's really not the funnest thing.
Does this make you want to be a judge on the WSL?
Hell no. Hell no. It's a real... Well, you know what? Judging those heats is easy.
Easier. 2 people,
Way
3
easier.
people, 30 minutes and done.
And
you
pick
choose
a winner
in that moment. Yes, that's a lot easier than over 6 rounds.
Keeping scale for 6 rounds, as opposed to your scale can be different heat to heat. Doesn't matter. You just got to pick the winners. That's not such a difficult job. The old backdoor shootout for Uncle Eddie is a difficult job. But so we got on day 1, the highest score of the day on day 1 was Shogo Harada with an 8.88. But it was a sensational ride in amongst chaos, and no one really, there weren't a lot of big scores that day, and that kind of capped things for the next day when it was massive and out of control again. That second round was
with
gnarly.
Not many great waves that day.
40-minute heats. And people surfed really well, but we got trapped, I suppose, a little bit as judges because that 8.88 sat as a benchmark, and everything else had to come in underneath it. And even when the waves got good, there was a critical element to the 8.88 that just a nice, good, straight barrel at pipe, that there are a gazillion every day when it's good, that comes in a 5 or a 6. But when people hear their scores and they've just had an incredible tube, and I can hear myself louder than I need to... when they've had an incredible ride and they come in and it's a 5, it kind of is, it created a situation where the scoring was low because of that, that ceiling that had been put there on day 1. And so from that point on, there are a lot of rides. In the end, at the end of the event, after the final night, I rang Uncle Eddie and went, hey, can I put 1 point on every single ride across the whole event? And our scale would be perfect. But we were like a point stingy, so to speak, and got sort of trapped there where good waves were coming in as 5s and 6s. They were 6s and 7s. The 8s were 9s. Everything would feel better to the surfers. It doesn't change anything. The
Proportionally, you still had it right. You just thought they should be higher numbers.
Yeah, there was just that, which kind of got trapped by the circumstance of setting a scale on a day and then finishing 12 days later, because it is a 12-day window.
You should have just raised his score.
We didn't need to rise anyone's. The result was the result, and if it didn't, one of our fine feathered judges said, "We're not here to stroke egos. We're here to get the job done." So it was, it's one of them challenges. I do, in the moment, it's a lot of stress, and I take it to heart because I've been on the other side of those things. You know how it feels to be a surfer. But again, in the end, there was a winner, Bethany Hamilton. In many ways, she won the female expression session.
And she got an award at the end for being the most inspirational surfer of the event.
And I think Uncle Eddie said, she is my favourite surfer.
He said, she's my hero and I don't have any heroes.
Is that what he said exactly?
That's what he said, yeah.
Bravo, mate. And he comes out with some great stuff. That is part of my favourite part of working there, is having, when the police came up to the tower to tell us they were going to book cars if they didn't move, Uncle Eddie just goes straight to the mic and goes, "Oh, how's Honolulu Police Department? Just looking for some cheap money. Leave the people alone. Don't move your cars," and just is so brazen and honest in how he feels about stuff. So the surfing on those final 2 days in the final 4 rounds got loony. There were so many incredible rides. You're judging a thing live in a moment,
right,
and it's an energetic moment influenced by all sorts of stuff that when you see it on a replay, on a video at a later date, as we did, we went back and reviewed all the waves. Because there were, people would go, "Hey, my score's too low." And we'd go back and we could explain why it was where it was in relation to that, in relation to that. And so we do look at all those rides, but they just appear differently. It's not the same thing as in an energetic moment, So you learn a lot up there. A good experience as a coach to spend time up there judging. You know what I mean? It gives you a perspective that you might not otherwise have until you're in that position. So that was good. Bethany stole the show, rode some triple overhead big beast, which is what she wanted to do. She won the expression session. She got the award for being the most inspirational surfer, and she represented your team so well. And then you also had another team member who did extremely well. Let's talk about the grommet, Luke Temmer. He made everybody recognise that he is someone who could win a Pipe Masters in the future. Did you feel like that watching his performance?
Yeah, how good was his style?
He got to interpret moments and actually enjoy it and light it up and turn it into something individual.
Well, it's so great on our team. You have like Koa Smith, who's waiting for the wave of the decade.
Yes.
I mean, he lives for Pipeline. He's waiting, and it didn't come this time. It came in the Pipe Masters.
He got a 10 at Pipe, so he's got high standards going into it.
But on your team, you want that one guy. Luke was surfing like he was just surfing. That's how he surfs pipe. He grabs everything that people don't want. So he was just grabbing everything that was available, and it kept the action moving. He was a froth. You want a froth and grom on your team to catch like 8 waves, And so there's always someone up.
He surfed it in a way that you would surf a traditional heat out there, didn't he?
Yeah.
He would have won any heat.
How good was, he picked off a bunch of waves by getting them under priority, so to speak, just because he was available.
Yeah, on the inside, big double
He's
hups.
letting those guys have the sets.
Exactly.
But then he did get some sets too.
And that's where your scores get kind of trapped at that point too, and you need those extraordinary waves that are waves of a lifetime, waves of,
to win this thing, you need a 10 and a couple backups. I mean,
and that's
just the way it goes.
In the end, let's talk to the results, and I'll pull them up. But in the end,
the Japanese team's heat and Koa, all those 10s on the final day.
How good was the Japanese team win?
So good.
That is a long-term project.
Yeah, those guys are so good, and they love it, and they're so respectful.
And they've been going in that event for a really long time, and year by year, they've been I've been judging. I don't know if it's 3 or 4 years now. And the performances every year just so impress me. The Courage team, Peru too, always fantastic. And
Alonso, Cristobal.
Where's the Australian team?
Where is it?
Yeah, get a team in there, Australia. So in the results, Team Japan, who won the overall team result, had 3 people in the top 10.
Wow.
So Shogo Harada came fourth. He had an 8.88, an 8.25, and a 4.88. And he was 2 points off the lead. If he had a 6.88 as the backup, he could have won that event just as easy as others. And again, you see 7.663 and a 10.13 for the winner, ultimately winning the event. Koa Rothman, Uncle Eddie's grommet, was on fire. Well, he was consistent throughout, and then at the very end of the last heat of the day, or that closing moments of the event, he gets one of these incredible rides that felt like one of the waves you've been waiting for, and the scores dropped, and he won the event. And it was an amazing performance. But you had a team rider in second place.
Yeah,
Shado P. Hey, what an event for him, mate.
Unreal, huh?
Incredible surfing. He got the 8.5. That could have been a 9. If that was at a point, if that was a 9.5, Shadows, I'm good. It feels better than it does as an 8.5. And that's that scaling situation we dealt with. But, the 8.5 stood high the whole way through the event. The backdoor one, the 7.63 on his backside was amazing.
Those were kind of back-to-back, too.
Yeah, that was a moment.
Yeah.
Don't you see that often in Pipeline?
Yes.
In all the events?
Someone gets an incredible left, they just go around, and then you get that. By the time that set finishes itself, it finishes with an A-frame back by the Ayukai side, and it's a right. I've seen Slater do it a million times, yeah.
It's and even if it's two lefts, or it seems like things happen in moments, energetic moments, and if you're there and on that spot, you can beat anyone. So congratulations to Shado for second. Jamie O'Brien was in third.
Yep.
And Jamie O is always just incredible out there, and just showed why he is considered one of the greatest, the best at Pipeline of all time. Shogo Harada in fourth, then Ivan Florence in fifth, Ryaru Ito from Japan.
Yeah, he's a great all-around surfer. He's on the CS Tour.
He really is all-round, mate.
I hope he gets on the CT.
And then Riko Matsumoto, style master. Both those goofies are so stylish and so good, and that rounded out their surfers in the top 10. Maikai Burdine, he got an 8.63, one of the waves of the event. Should have been, at a point it's a 9.63, and where it would have sat to. Eli Olsen, Alonzo Correa, Steve Roberson, and Baron Mamiya, Luke Temmer there, Makana Pang, Benji Brandt, Nathan Florence, and the list went on of amazing surfers. It was an amazing event. For me, it's one of those things that I like to do and give back and be a part of something with the OGs, the originals, the people who have been that club's 50 years old. That event's been going for ages, and we applaud them for the work they do to keep the community tight and living clean and living the surfing and aloha lifestyle. Thank you for having us. PK, that's us, mate. We're out. We're done. Thanks, Uncle Eddie, for the DaHui Backdoor Shootout. It's a great event. Congrats to you and the team. Congrats to all the winners and everyone who was a part of it. See you next time.